I love working for myself until it's tax time, and then it makes me want to cry. There's got to be a better way, y'all. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyra and welcome back to Keeper Tax, your one-stop shop for all things 1099 taxes. Here on this channel, we create resources for freelancers, independent contractors, gig workers, and anyone else who files or should be filing business taxes. Look, filing taxes is not anyone's idea of a good time. I literally create tax content and I'd still rather go to the dentist, you know? But what if I told you there's a tax filing software made just for freelancers and independent contractors, and it's a lot easier to use? Let's check it out. If you're like me and you do a lot of independent contracting work, tax season is, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's a nightmare because accountants are expensive, and if you want to save some money, you use the big tax software that everybody uses like TurboTax and H&R Block. They are not really designed for self-employed people. Like, we can use them, but they weren't really made with us in mind. So if you use TurboTax, you end up spending so much just mental energy getting through all the questions when most of them are not even relevant to your situation. Now, let me tell you guys about Keeper Tax. It's a filing software built specifically for freelancers and gig workers. It's customized to us, so it knows all the forms we need and the write-offs we're taking. So you can go through it and know you're not missing anything and you're saving as much as possible. So today, I am going to file my taxes using Keeper Tax. I've got all my documents that I need right here, and on my computer, my 1099 forms, driver's license, and all of that stuff is ready to go. So let me just see how easily I can get it done so I can move on with my life, y'all. I've got stuff to do and shows to catch up on, okay? I'm going to be doing this on my computer because it's a lot easier for you guys to see, but I want you guys to also know that you can file your taxes right on your phone. So if you're out waiting for a Lyft ride or between rides as a Lyft driver, you can honestly just pull out your phone and start doing your taxes right there. Now let me share my screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. If you guys have been on this channel before, you've heard me talking about the Keeper Tax app. It's an app that helps freelancers and independent contractors find write-offs by scanning our purchases for stuff we bought for work. So the app automatically scans your transactions for write-offs, then you get a human bookkeeper to check and make sure everything looks legit. That way you won't miss out on any deductions and you won't accidentally overpay the IRS at tax time, which honestly happens a lot to freelancers. If you want to try out the app, go to www.keepertax.com. You can use that same app to file your taxes. So a little bit about my tax situation. I am a content creator, obviously, and I also work as an actress. I've been doing a show on Netflix, commercials, and other small roles. And on top of that, I am also a pastry chef, which I actually just got paid to do a wedding cake around the end of the year. I told you guys I do a lot of independent contracting work, and because of all of that, I was able to write off stuff like the software I use for editing and to create my self-tapes, my car expenses because I drive to auditions, my agent fees, supplies for baking, all of that. Now let me go ahead and file my taxes so I can have a good rest of my Saturday. So all of this information shows up from when I was using the app to find write-offs. Like, it knows I have freelance income, of course, it knows how I got a stimulus check and that I have health insurance. So I'm gonna enter my personal information now. If you are married or if you've got kids or any other dependents, you'll enter their information under the See More. But as of now, your girl is single, so I'm just going to move right on. So I just finished entering all of my information and now I am a third of the way done. Now it's time to enter my freelance income because this software was designed specifically for freelancers. It's basically the first piece of financial information that comes up. If you have 1099s, you put them here. Now I did get 1099 NECs from some of my acting jobs. That's the form that they use to report non-employee compensation to the IRS. That's what NEC stands for. It basically means you worked for a company as an independent contractor. If you have those, you just upload it here as a PDF or you can even enter it manually. As freelancers though, we don't always get 1099 forms for all of the jobs that we do. If you made less than $600 somewhere, they don't have to send you one. So we end up having to report some of that income ourselves, and we can do that here as well. For the work I did as a pastry chef, I actually didn't get a 1099 form, so I have to put that information in manually. You just put in what you made and subtract any refunds you had to give to customers. I didn't have any because my cakes are a bomb. And I'm moving on to the federal credit section, hoping to save some money here on my federal credits. So, with federal credits, the first thing I see here is the standard deduction, and yes, I'm going to go ahead and take that. And here's a hot tip: you can write off business expenses and take the standard deduction on top of that. That's because the standard deduction only replaces personal itemized deductions like medical bills and charitable donations, and I did not donate enough this year to get more than the $12,400 off my taxes. So the point is, I'm definitely going to be claiming my home office, car expenses, and all of that on top of the standard deductions. If you want to know more about how that actually works, I actually have an entire video on the standard deduction for freelancers, and I have linked it down below in the description box. Now, because I work from home, I'm claiming a home office, so I can turn my rent into a tax break. I live in LA, so that's enough said. There are a ton of expenses you can claim if you do have a home office, like your utilities, Wi-Fi, home security, even house cleaning, if you have someone come in and do that for you. If you also work from home and want to learn more about what you can write off, check out that video on home office deductions. I'm giving you guys all the videos because you need all of the knowledge for your taxes this year. Let me enter in my rent, square footage, and all of that stuff. So it's asking how much room my home office takes up at my apartment. I've got this little slider bar that I can use for that, and it tells you if you're claiming too much as your home office, because that can be a big red flag for the IRS. No one uses 80% of their house for an exclusive workstation, right? But if you're claiming a reasonable amount of space as your home office, that's okay. You're not gonna be automatically audited. That's an urban myth that I've talked about on this channel before, and you can check out that video in the description box as well. Yes, a lot of freelancers don't claim their home offices even if they do use them, and don't be like that, okay? You are leaving money on the table. I am about to start entering my car information now so I can write off what I'm spending on gas and repairs and all of that when I'm driving for work. So I've been driving to auditions and meetings and class and all of that stuff. Now it's asking me if I tracked my miles for the year. And y'all, that would be a no. I actually did not keep a mileage log, which isn't strictly required if you're planning on claiming actual car expenses instead of just taking the standard rate per mile. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so it's letting me give an estimate using my odometer reading, so I can tell them how much I drove for work as opposed to for personal trips. And it calculates my mileage for me. So if you weren't super careful about keeping a mileage log or anything, doing this can be a good option for you. Okay, so my car details are complete. This is honestly such a huge source of write-offs for freelancers who drive for work, so I'm glad that I got that taken care of. So if you guys drove for work and want to learn more about how those write-offs work, you already guessed it, I have videos linked down below, and they are about claiming your car on your taxes. Make sure you check those out. Now I have to enter my health insurance info. And now it's time for my stimulus check. Now I'm entering the quarterly taxes I've paid throughout the year. If you guys want to know more about how these work, I've got a whole video on them that I have linked down below. Just doing my charitable donations now. 2/3 of the way done. And now I'm gonna work on my state taxes for California. With Keeper Tax, you don't have to pay extra for state. So if you have any multi-state income, like a lot of freelancers do, honestly, that's huge not to get nickel and dime for every single state. That's it for California. I'm in the final stretch now. You guys, I am literally at the final review screen. Let me just scroll through this final check. Ooh, I have something to change really quick. And I'm ready to submit. You guys, my taxes are done and I can still make it to brunch. Now let's talk about how much this costs. If you're already using the Keeper Tax app to find write-offs, you get tax filing for free. And that comes with all of the states you need, audit protection, and review by a tax professional to make sure everything looks good with your return. So that's kind of like TurboTax plus a bookkeeper. Keep in mind, if you do just get TurboTax, you'll need the self-employed version. That's $120 for the federal and then $50 for every state for $170 minimum. And that's without anybody to help you find your write-offs. So if you want to check it out, go to www.keepertax.com to get started. Well, you guys, that is all that I have for you guys today. In the comments below, let me know how you filed your taxes in the past and how that experience was for you. What are you guys planning on using this year to file your taxes? If you would like more easy to digest tax content, make sure that you give this video a like, and if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and make sure your notifications are on so you can get all of the alerts and stay up to date with all things self-employed taxes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.